Can you kindly talk about the penalties of early withdrawal in a 401k versus IRA?
Sure. Let me start by saying, don't do it. Scrape the couch cushions for change before you take out of your retirement accounts, because it's not the penalty of taking it out that's going to burn. Believe me, that one will sting. It's the opportunity cost of that money no longer growing tax advantage that will hurt you more. So, but I understand the intent of the question, and emergencies happen, and at times we've got to go grab money. In an IRA, you can withdraw money and actually not have to withhold. Right. So the penalty is 10% for early withdrawals out of any retirement account, traditional Roth or 401k. With a Roth, you actually have a little access to money without potential penalty, but that's a little more complex, but just another feather in the cap for the Roth, which I'm always looking for. On the IRA side, it's 10% penalty. There's no withholding, right? You can waive out of withholding. In a 401k, if you go to withdraw money, the penalty is the same. It's 10%, but there's a mandatory 20% withholding. So you'll square that up in April when you file your taxes. But so if you took 100 grand out of an IRA, you only have a 10% penalty. If you took 100 grand out of a 401k, you have the same 10% penalty, and the custodian's going to withhold 20% automatically. So you're only going to see, in essence, 80,000 bucks, not the 100. So there's no additional penalties. It's just that withholding that trips people up, makes it feel like it costs more. You just basically prepay in a 401k where you pay in April in an IRA.
Yeah, and I think that is really great advice. And I also want to people think about other ways to access money in their 401k without taking penalties. We talk a lot with our clients about a 401k loan. And so for Ty's question here, if Ty's asking about how to get access to the money in his 401k, a 401k loan can be a great opportunity. And what a 401k loan is a loan against the dollars that you have in your 401k. When you take a 401k loan, you have access to the dollars. You can take a loan for up to $50,000, and you do not incur any early withdrawal penalties. And what it does is it frees up capital for you to make a wise investment decision that is not subject to the same restrictions that the rest of your 401k is. So if you are somebody who is saying, well, I sat down and I looked where I have my financial portfolio today, and I just realized that it is 100% in stocks, and I don't like that. A 401k loan is something that you can take out, pull out up to $50,000, and then repurpose that to another asset that you think is better suited for you and for your financial goals, like real estate. So again, as I keep reiterating this thing that was taught to me early on, 18 years ago when I started to invest, and I absolutely believe it, which is if you find the right team and the right investment, finding the money is the easiest part. This 401k loan is another tool for you. You may already have money sitting inside your 401k that literally within a few clicks you could have access to, and you might have $50,000 of your funding solved literally by the end of this show right here today. So for those who are saying, I want to get started in buying my first rental property, but I don't have the funds, write down these tips that Jason and myself are giving you today. Write down 401k loan, write down HSA, your Roth, right? Your IRA, self-directed, partnering with other friends or family members. All of these things will help you get started and overcome that money challenge that many people say out there is holding them back. But in reality, when you're surrounded by people who have done this before, you quickly realize that that's the easiest part.
Yeah, quick confession, Greg. In 2014, I was buying a new house, and I was looking for the money because I was stretching the budget. 2014 prices were super low. You could buy a ton of house, right? And in a house I thought I could never afford, I took a 401k loan to actually make sure I had enough money to meet the down payment requirements to buy it. And that house has since appreciated substantially. I've sold it and moved to another house, but I took the entire proceed from sale. I paid this small little loan off, had a ton of money left over, and put it down on my next house. And, that was a personal deal, so I couldn't use my IRA to buy it directly because I lived in it. But it's a prime example, whether it's an investment, primary residence, like these are strategies. And if the only money in your 401k is locked up, right? And you don't love the investment choices, take it out and put it to better work. So I love that strategy. I am not just the spokesperson, but I'm also a member too. Is that the old hair club for men approach? But it really was. It's a great strategy. And you got to be smart. You got to understand what it means. You got to make sure you're prepared to repay the loan. But one thing that I think that's so cool about your strategy, Gregg, is that not only are you doing that, you're going to see your paycheck go down a little bit, right? Because you're paying that loan off, but it's almost like you're financing your investments while you're already financing your investments. And I can tell you, every single person on this call, if you're at a point where you're thinking about buying real estate, could live without a couple $100 in your paycheck, right? It's just going to keep you from going to Starbucks or hitting Uber Eats once or twice. But the wealth that you will build in that asset, going to be game changer.
And that's a really good point. The other point is when I sit down with clients and my team sits down with our clients and we say, is this the right thing for you? And it's the right thing to do the 401k loan. They say, oh, you know what? Well, I already had like $200 a month or $500 a month or whatever that was on auto savings going into my Schwab account. They're already doing this for many people. You're already transferring money over. And so at the end of the day, if you take a step back and you think, okay, well, is that investment that's through Schwab better for me? Or is there an alternative that's better for me? You find out that probably your lifestyle for many people actually doesn't change. You just have to think a little bit differently.
Great advice. And I'm just going to throw out there, we all have great hair on this call, so we don't have to worry about the hair club for men stuff, guys.